Over the next few minutes, I intend to address my views on religion, a subject which has become extremely delicate in our culture. Yet I feel I must begin with an apology. I think it is quite possible that some of you will be offended by some of the things I say. This seems nearly inescapable in a country where 90% of the population believes in a biblical God. However, I assure you that that is not the point. It is not the point of this speech, nor is it the reason for my choosing to raise these ideas in regular conversation. These reactions are merely a rather unfortunate inherent byproduct of the issue. Instead, my goal is to promote new rules of conversation and to open up a discussion on a topic which has become, in today's world, highly ignored for what it truly represents. In addition to those of you who take offense to my arguments, however, I expect a great many of you, whether openly or not, will have already thought some of these things. According to the highly respected polling group, the Pew Forum, the most rapidly growing minority in the United States today is people with no religious affiliation. Of course, not all of these people refer to themselves as atheists, as I do, but the general sentiment is growing, and due to a variety of factors, many people in this country and others are becoming fed up with the role religion is taking in our lives, particularly in public policy. I feel that before continuing, I should clarify my own beliefs. I by no means hate all religion, nor do I seek to criticize and offend for their own sake. However, what I do seek is truth, a concept virtually absent from all religion. The truth is there is absolutely no good evidence whatsoever to support the claims of theology. This is painfully apparent even to many theists, who of course turn to other arguments, some of which Ben and I will cover. There is a related question which has always been interesting to me. Is there any other area of our lives in which we are so willing to accept extraordinary claims without a shred of evidence? I don't think so. So why is it that so many people are willing to base their lives around such claims, many of which have been continuously disproved by science? I expect one reason is fear of the unknown, and definitely fear of death. Religious faith is comforting in this regard. However, the fact that it provides solace does not at all speak to its truth value. Another reason, which has been studied in depth by scientists and psychologists such as the Professor Daniel Dennett, is that due to the makeup of our brains, we humans tend to prefer conspiracy theory to no theory at all, and thus accept any explanation we are able to find. Evolutionary biologists and geneticists have also discovered evolutionary and genetic rationales to such tendencies, the most well-known being Dean Hamer's celebrated study of the God gene, which proposes that the propensity towards belief in a higher power stems from brain chemicals governed by our DNA. Whatever the reasons, belief in religion is clearly irrational in every definition of the word, since it is completely free from the faculty of reason, and also brings upon us enormous consequences. I wish to explore common themes I've observed from many discussions and arguments with theists, and borrowing a structure that is a favorite of countless non-theist writers, I will attempt to outline the ways in which the faithful argue against non-believers. There don't appear to be hundreds and hundreds, for obvious reasons, while I do consider all religions versions of the same untruth, I will concentrate mainly on the three Abrahamic religions. Now, there don't appear to be hundreds and hundreds of paths to take when rising to the defense of God. No, there appear to be just three. Either one will argue that a certain religion is true, or he will argue that religion is useful, or he will claim that atheism is essentially another religion. None of these arguments have any basis in fact, and since the third is merely an act of desperation, in my opinion, and has been covered extensively by many writers such as Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, I will concentrate solely on the first two. The first argument, that a particular religion is true. There are many things that are wrong with this way of thinking, the most obvious being the complete lack of evidence to support any of the core metaphysical claims. Those who argue that religion and science are mutually exclusive, and thus we do not require the same type of evidence for religion or the existence of God that we require for scientific theories, are, in my opinion, missing the point. Many of the core beliefs of religion are directly contradicted by science, which by definition deals with, quote, knowledge, especially that gained through experience. Here's what it comes down to. The claim that there is a supernatural, superhuman entity who is aware of and cares about our existence and who intervenes in human affairs is a statement about how the universe is. This idea of the universe is a very different universe than one which has no such governing force. Thus, this claim must be subjected to the same evidentiary standards that we hold any scientific theory to. I am of the belief that any creative intelligence which is fit to design anything comes into being only as the end product of a gradual extended process of evolution. Before 1859, in the introduction of Charles Darwin's The Origin of Species, the only explanation we had for how the world came to be the way it is was that it was designed